Hello, my name is Doug Leisure, and I wanted to record this video today to show you the translation capabilities within my 2024 version of my donation software. So let's open up the donation software, and this is for a church named Divine Mercy in Atlanta, Georgia. So first thing it's going to do is prompt you for the donation date. I'm not doing a donation today. I am just simply reconfiguring it for a different language. So we're just going to cancel this. All right, let's go over and start with the parameters. As I ship the software, I am shipping it with the Spanish language already in it. So if you're Spanish speaking, then this is easier for you. You just want to come to the Parameters tab and switch the language from English to Spanish. And as soon as you do that, look at all the parameters. The descriptions have changed then into the Spanish language. I'll show you at the end how we can switch it to other languages, but I just wanted to show you then for the Spanish, which is already built in, how easily we can do that. We're going to go through some of the different parameters here, because once we switch it to a different language, we'll also then want to switch the parameter options to match the language. But before I do that, it was my friends up at the Japanese church in Boston who actually gave me, I think, a much better idea, which is rather than just switching between English or Spanish, to be able to display then both languages, so that you're in an environment where you have that dual language need. Some of my volunteers speak English, some speak Spanish. Oh, when I send out my receipts, I want some of them will understand English, others Spanish. So let's send it out in both languages. So that concept of doing a dual language, I thought was just really a helpful and constructive idea, and I appreciate that suggestion. So let's, instead of doing just Spanish, let's go ahead and switch it over to English and Spanish. And so now you'll see that immediately everything is displayed in both languages. Now, before we go any further, whenever you switch this from English to the other language, whether it's just Spanish or the dual language English and Spanish, as soon as you do that, I want you to save the Excel file, close it, and open it back up again. And there's a reason I'm doing this step, and that's because while the Excel file is being opened, there are some things happening in the background that only happen during the time when you open the software. So let me again escape out of that. And what happens is we are changing Excel's menu here while the software is being opened. So now that I've switched to a non-English language, what we'll see on the Excel menu is we actually have both. We have the English version of the donation software menu items, but then we also have it in Spanish. So that's how you get the menu to switch and show both languages. Just simply select your language on the parameters, save it, close it, open it back up again, and the menu will change. All right, now that we're doing the dual languages, we need to set up some of the other things for both languages as well. I mentioned already that each of the parameters, the ones that use the drop-down selection box, you'll want to click on the drop-down arrow and select the correct answer, the correct parameter in the dual language as well. Some of the other things we want to change, we probably want to change the church name to also be dual language. The address is not going to change. If this is really in Atlanta, Georgia, you're probably going to keep the same date format. Let's go down to all the other ones. So this is another yes or no. We'll set that one to no. Numbers, of course, numbers stay the same. Here's another parameter. Set that one to yes in the dual language. Optionally, you could change the prefix for the file, the detailed weekly giving information, the parameters here. You could change that if you want to, or you can leave it as is. That one is up to you. Let's go to some of the other ones here. We want to display it monthly, which again in the dual language. Another yes or no, so we'll set that one portrait. Set that to portrait in the dual language. The numbers are the same. Come down here. Oh, our footer on the receipts. Yeah, we really ought to fix that one up. Let's go ahead and change that. Put in the information in both languages. Come down here to a couple more. We have a monthly here, so we'll select that. Another yes. So let's set that one to portrait in the dual language. And then the footer for my reports. Let's go ahead and change that so we display that in both languages. Expenses, let's go ahead and set those up. Just a couple more there. Yes, another yes. Deposit, again, probably if you're working in an environment where we need both languages displayed, we'll go ahead and do both languages as for that. And for the category, and finally one more selection here to display it monthly. And one more thing is our donation categories. We really ought to do those in the dual language as well. All right, the quantity doesn't change. We're still doing 3 categories, but we want to display them in both languages. All right, so that's what we need to do from the parameter perspective. Probably a good time to save it real quickly with those changes. That's everything we need to do on the parameters. The next part of it then is we go ahead and we just touch the different sheets and take a look at it from the perspective of the formatting. Now that we're displaying so much more information, we probably need to look at adjusting the row height or the column widths to make sure that everything displays correctly. All right, so since we're making a formatting change to a sheet that's protected, we'll want to go to the Review tab and unprotect this tab. And now we're free to make those formatting changes. So let's just make this a little bit wider here. Okay, and again, your other option is to make the column wider. Maybe this would be a good one. Just tweak it a little bit. Specials, yep, that one needs to be adjusted a little bit. All right, so those are looking pretty good. I might need to make this one a little bit wider for the quantity. There we go. Okay, so we've adjusted that one. We will protect it and go on to the receipts. How are the receipts looking? It looks pretty good up there. Column A is not looking too good. Our months, a couple of the columns. So let's go ahead and same thing, just unprotect that. And now we can make some adjustments. Let's take this one and make it a little bit wider. There we go. Okay. And the footer looks pretty good. So again, you might want to do that to the reports in the 5-year report. Might need to adjust the expenses a little bit wider as well. So just that concept, going back and looking at the formatting now that we've modified it to display the dual language. Looks like I need to actually make this one a little bit wider. Okay. And again, your other choice, since it's Excel formatting, would be to adjust these so that they do a word wrap rather than just simply making the column really wide. Your choice on how you might want to address that. And then again, please protect the sheet after you make the modifications. And then you're done with it. Okay, that was one of the main things I wanted to show you regarding the translation, especially if you're using the Spanish language. It's already built in. Let's say you're not using Spanish. So I'm going to go ahead and go through an example of switching this now to Portuguese. So one of the things, I already have the Portuguese, Japanese, and Burmese translation. hopefully over this next year I'll be getting a lot more translations that I can send out to you if you need a different language. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So back to the translation tab. So what you see here is in column E we have all of the English words. Column F is the other language, whatever language you want to display. So let's say you email me and say, hey, I want the Portuguese translation. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and email you a copy of the Portuguese translation, or actually I'll send you my Excel file with all of my other translations that I have so far, and you can just copy the Portuguese right out of it. So let's just take a quick look at that. So I'll email it to you, and you'll get the translation file via email. And what you do is you just go in and you'll just find the tab that has your language. Again, if it's one of these ones that I already have the translation for, I'll send it to you. Hopefully I'll be making more of these translations here this coming year. But let's go through the Portuguese. So it literally is going to be just this simple, that we just take all of the yellow cells here. So from the top of F all the way to the last translation that's in here, and then we're going to copy it, go back over to your master file, starting right here at the top. You're just going to paste it in, and I probably would do a paste values. Shouldn't matter, but I would just be inclined to do a paste values. All right, now that you've done that, what you're going to find back here on the parameters is that everything we're doing then is now can be English or Portuguese, right? So we would set up everything in English and Portuguese, and now you'd go down through, and just like we did with the Spanish, you'd go down and set all of the parameters using the dual language, English and Portuguese. So that kind of a concept. So everything else I showed you on Spanish, you just repeat now that you have the Portuguese in there. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you. What if you're trying to set this up for a language that I don't have yet? So let's just shut this one down, and let's go through those steps. All right, once again, you're going to go to the translation tab. And what we want to do, I think the simplest way to do it, well, you could just sit here and type all these things, but wow, you're going to be really working hard to do that. I think the better thing is, let's take this over to Google Translate. So let's go over there, open up our browser, Google Translate. And I think what you want to do is you want to go through and just simply copy this information, probably one at a time. So you would type in your language, because I don't have Google's not going to do that translation for us. What do we want to do? You want to do French. Let's just be a little bit picky here. We'll go ahead and put that in and translate it to French. Sure, so we might as well get the correct spelling of the French language. And we'll drop that in here. Oops, I'm so sorry. So that it doesn't change the formatting, because it's coming basically out of whatever this format is that Google's displaying. What we really want to do, guys, folks, is we want to take an empty we want to take an empty notepad, and we want to use that to just simply copy out of Google Translate into the notepad. And then if we take that from the notepad over to Excel, then we could just do a normal simple paste, and because it's coming out of a notepad, it'll retain the format that we had in here before. All right, and that'll help us when we're doing lots and lots and lots of text like this. All right, so let's just take this entire group. First of all, back here to Google Translate. Take all of the things here out of the French side of Google Translate. All right, so copy back to my notepad, paste it in. Okay, so there it is in the French language, and now we just simply select everything and copy that, taking it back to Excel. All right, and now we're building our French language translation here. So just work your way down through all of the different sections here, doing that copy and paste and moving it over. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this off when we're when I'm done with this video, and just finish off the French language, so I have that too. But that's what you would do for your language. I would highly recommend you just take it back to Google Translate, translate it into whichever language you're wanting to use. Do the same copy and paste as I'm showing you. The big thing though I would suggest is Google doesn't always do the best job at translating things. So just when you're done with Google's translation, please circle back and take a closer look, especially at the things I've highlighted in this pinkish color, to make sure that they do match correctly with the words that you're translating. These are some of the ones that are pretty important. So for instance, receipts are displayed monthly or weekly, or details. Down here then we have those matching words. So we just want to make sure that the words we put up here in the question match the responses or the answers we're providing down here. So these things in pink are the ones that would be the most important ones to review and take a look at and make sure they match. So here's one where, yeah, so here's a good example. The options are going to be mensuel or your monthly or weekly here with capital letters. Down here, when it translated, it did not make it capitalized. So this would be a good one to just simply adjust and make sure that it matches the options we'll have in the drop down. Okay, one other one that I've noticed that often is not translated correctly would be down here where we have our months, right? Making sure that the months are translated correctly. That's another one I've seen often go wrong in just the standard Google Translate. So okay, so hey, this is what I wanted to cover related to the translation. My only request for you who are going through the steps of translating it into your own language, when it's all done, would you please send your translation tab back to me so that I can include it and share it with other churches going forward. All right, that's what I wanted to cover. Thank you so very much.